Oh, beneath the Kotatsu episode 49. On there, James here. This week we wanted to watch that Golden Kamuy, just the first 24 episodes. I don't know if it's finished or not, but I think that's a good enough intro for most people. What are your initial thoughts about the series?
Okay, so with Golden Kamuy, okay, real quick. So, usually when we recommend anime, right?
Yeah,
We usually think like if it's a hit or a miss with our recommendation, right? And
right.
we like I know most of your recommendations have not been on the hit side of the good list, right?
Hey, that's a little biased.
Um,
I think I would agree though. Maybe a 50%.
would you call Golden Kamuy a hit or a miss?
For me, it's definitely a hit.
I'm
It's
on that
extremely pleasant to watch.
I'm on that 50-50 range of
I know why you say that.
I
I know
feel
exactly why you say that. Because
right.
it's like,
You feel it too, right? You feel it
I
too.
feel it too.
Yeah.
It feels like it's two different series at one time. It's very serious. Like they're on, those Western movies like 310 to Yuma, what is it, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Or
Yeah.
was that the parody version?
I don't remember. It's what's that one really popular comedy anime? I forgot what it's called.
I'm
Uh
talking about like the Korean one where they do the Mexican standoff at the end of the movie.
I don't
The Good, the Bad,
remember.
the Weird was
Okay.
the comedic. I think it's more like The Good, the Bad, and the Weird, but it's
Yeah.
still trying to remain serious. That they're going after the gold bar, and we have all these, what is it,
Yeah.
World War I type of things, Japan-Russian wars,
Yeah. Like it's like trying to mix
seriousness with goofiness,
it's like they're trying to pull off Full Metal Alchemist, but they just don't hit that mark
right?
like that Full Metal Alchemist does. And the thing about this anime is that it's really hard to recommend to people because it's kind of hard to like keep track of everything. That's my main point is that it's the story is kind of all over the place. It's hard to try to figure out what's going on.
Well, I mean,
And
they're
then
just
like and then B like this anime is like I know like when we talk about anime it's like oh it's one thing and another like blood gore whatever we're used to that, but this is the one anime that I do not recommend for kids just
no,
because
absolutely not.
yeah, like Attack on Titan, like there's a difference between like the gore in Attack on Titan and the gore in Golden Kamuy because it's more real, like this is very
Absolutely
realistic.
realistic, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so it's very so like on that note it's very hard to watch, like when we're talking about like gore like what was it My Hero Academia, like he gets broken bones, but that's like that cartoonish type of gore where you're like
Right,
used to
like
it,
where
like
his finger gets purple because it lost all the blood or whatever. Or he
yeah,
fractures it.
yeah, and that's fine, we're kind of used to that, and we're like oh it's just cartoon gore, but like with Golden Kamuy this is like on a different scale of like super realistic gore and blood and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
so
super realistic, but they have like some weird, unrealistic fixes. Like the guy who loses his ears, he has
yeah.
like a leather ear mask made. I was like, what? And then the same guy loses his foot, and he gets like a foot gun.
No, the ear mask I think was his brother's ear.
It was,
Yeah, and
but he
I
loses
guess
his ear too, doesn't he?
yeah, I think he loses his right ear, then he gets his left ear cut off by
Yeah.
Tsurumi or whatever. Just because he just wanted it to match.
And then he goes a little bit nutso and starts talking to the ear like it's his brother. I guess because he's
Everyone goes
messed
nuts
up
so.
because of. Oh yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
They're all very weird characters.
Yeah, this is such a
It's a realistic setting with shonen characters. Could you say that?
yeah, like okay. On one hand, I would I want to say this is like a aimed more towards the women's side for some reason.
Oh yeah, like when you said I don't recommend this because of all the gore, it's so realistic. I was like, what about all those scenes where they're like cooking the otter,
Like
and they're like, we
the
got to
female
wrestle.
the female what do you call it? Beach episode type deal.
Yeah, it was like the reverse speech episode.
Yeah, the reverse just
It's
service
very strong into like showing off the bara aesthetics of the characters.
that's like
Did you get to the point where they were? Oh yeah. I think you did, where they were going around town showing pictures of trying to find a Shripa, and they kept on showing the wrong picture. Did you watch? Because I went past 24 episodes because I liked it.
I didn't see that. No,
I don't want to spoil that. Do you want me to spoil it?
I stopped right at 24.
Okay,
So,
I went to 28.
So you're like halfway through third season, right?
It ends at 36.
Oh, really?
Well, what's out? I don't know if it ends. If that's the last.
No. So you're at 28, right? So you're
yes,
halfway through season 3, or a little less than that, right?
About, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, the show in general feels like it just doesn't
unrealistic.
Feel no, it's real. It's more realistic than most animes. Okay,
it is. It's just the weird characters give it a. It's hard to put a finger on feeling. Like, you know when you dip a chip into guac and then you dip the same chip with guac in it into cheese.
It's like they combined Gintama and Attack on Titan into one anime.
Yeah, and they just the seriousness and the silliness.
Yeah, it's
mixed.
Like it's
too
intertwined.
Serious.
Yeah, it's too serious and the comedy's too funny.
Yeah, the comedy's great.
Yeah, like the comedy is just really like there's some scenes that I did laugh really hard at, and then they'll just go straight into and you know what I hate about this anime is that they put in your head, they put into the precursor that someone can just straight up die at any time. You know?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Yeah, like someone can just be sitting there and bam, they get a bullet in the head, they're dead. Like
that's kind of they got like a master sniper going around too.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. Like sniper wise, I'm just saying like in let's talk about Lord of the Rings, not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. Okay. In the show, they put in your head that anyone can die at any time, and you're kind of used to that. That's what they did at the start of Golden Kamuy, is that they just put in your head that anyone could die at any time, and they do that. You know, people will die at any time. But it's just
been like. I was about to say useless characters, but I don't want to say about who dies and who doesn't.
Like, do you remember the part where they're trying to pretend to be the general or whatever?
Yeah, the guy that's amazing at doing the impersonation.
Yeah.
That's the big one that stuck out to me. The other ones were inconsequential, I think.
Yeah, he just straight up died. He just straight up got shot in the head.
He did.
Yeah. And I was like, they set that up as a president, and I in my head I was like, somebody's gonna die like out of nowhere, and I was right. I was right about that someone's gonna die. Especially with the ending scene in season 2 where they killed what's his name, Shripa or whatever, or the.
Are you gonna spoil who dies, or do you care?
I feel like if we're gonna review Golden Kamuy, it's kind of hard to not spoil a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it definitely is. It was Willick, the one that died.
Yeah, like they just straight up like just kill him, and I was like, yeah, I expected it because they're in the open. People die all the time. They set it up to where.
I mean, there was a huge gunfight going on.
Right. Well, not counting the gunfight, it was a planned death. It was a planned death because of the sniper. So that. But
did the sniper do it of his like own deeds, or was it because of his relation to the 7th, I think? Or did he drop the 7th? I forget.
I think he was still with... Not with the 7th, the Ogata. I think he was with Ogata. And I'm not... Is Ogata with the 7th? No. They split apart because at the end of season 2, Sugimoto was with the 7th.
Yeah, and he got picked up by them because he got shot in the dome, and he didn't really have a choice. Yeah.
You know... I hated that in season 2 they ended with Sugimoto getting shot, and then they didn't wait till season 3 to show that he was still alive. They could have held that back.
I mean, he's immortal Sugimoto and one of the main characters of the show.
But like, how amazing would it be to be that cliffhanger of like he's dead in season 2, and then in season 3 he's back alive again.
I can agree with that, but isn't there already a manga made for this, so people would know he's alive?
Yeah, but not everyone reads the manga.
That's true, I didn't. Neither did you.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if I was gonna hold a good cliffhanger, that would have been a great cliffhanger to hold.
Yeah, I could see how that would be good to like start it off. Maybe season 3, he's on the what is it, the whatever that position where the Titanic scene where they're holding each other's arms. He's just like at the bow of the ship. He's
Yeah.
like, "I'm coming for you," and then she has the dream about Sugimoto with the Kamui, or maybe they could have ended season 2 with Ashripa having the dream about Sugimoto, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That would have probably been better, I think.
So in general, what was your favorite episode of the show?
Oh, that's hard to pick. Like most of my favorite stuff wasn't even about any of the fighting or the gold stuff. It was about learning about the
Food.
What type of people are they called? The Nui?
I knew.
The Ainu. There we go.
Yeah.
That thing at the beginning was that weird chant that they do when they're letting the bear go back to heaven.
Oh,
I think they're burning it to, what is it? Let it come back to Earth, to let people. I think it
to
was
let the soul out. To let the soul out.
Yes, to let the Kamui know that there are people that are good and that they can come back to Earth.
I thought you were talking about the food chant where they go hinna hinna.
I thought she was just saying that because she likes food. What's the Hina Hina stuff about?
It's basically a chant saying like the food is delicious and it's like a blessing on the food.
Oh,
And
it's a straight blessing. I thought she was just saying it to like do a cute little thing. It shows how ignorant we are. Like I think this is the first time where I've even heard about the Ainu people in anime.
Is that
And
a
this is
real
my
thing?
first exposure. Yeah, it's a real thing.
Oh, that's neat.
It's a
Wait,
like all the stuff that they talk about in the show. That's real. I don't know about Shitatop, but I also really like the Shitatop, by the way.
Is the where is this? Is this in Japan?
It is.
Is the setting in Japan? Okay.
It is.
Um,
But there's also like places that got taken over by Russia. So I
Okay.
don't know how far up it goes in what used to be. Like I'm not familiar with the historical geography of Japan.
yeah, me either. Oh, you know what I thought was really cool? The episode where they were fighting the blind people,
Oh yeah,
and the
they were
blind
talking
people.
about the noises of the Gatas, but it's not Gatas.
It's using echolocation. You know that's actually real, right?
Yeah, I saw a news article, not a news article, a news report on TV. This is a blind kid like riding his bicycle around,
Yeah.
clicking his
No,
tongue.
it was a documentary. I saw that exact
it?
same documentary. Yeah.
I think the one that I had showed him playing like Street Fighter. At the, it was kind of cool.
No. That's 100% fake. You can't play Street Fighter if you're blind.
No, it was an actual person. He was just going by audio cues. He wasn't great.
Oh,
but
okay.
he
Going
was
by audio
doing
cue.
stuff and actually getting moves in.
Well, but that has nothing to do with echolocation, though.
No, it doesn't.
That's
That was
audio
just a
cue.
funny little tidbit that I
I was
had
like,
in the report.
Yeah, I thought you were saying like this kid was playing Street Fighter using echolocation.
No,
I was like, what does that mean?
There's no
Like,
way. He can't
exactly.
do that. What do you use a specialized microphone to do that? They don't even have that capability in video games, I don't think. That'd be cool, right? To have that in a video game?
For what?
I don't know, dude. Like, let's say it's a video game and you're in a cave in the dark and you have to use your microphone input clicking your tongue.
Okay, that's kind of stupid.
It'd be like one of those text adventures of old, like Zork.
I think the closest game ever to come close to something like that would be Taiho of the Sun or something like that. It's
I
a
never
game
played
where
it.
yeah, it's a game where like the you had your cartridge had like a sun meter, and to reload your gun you had to physically go outside and hold your game outside to
Are you
recharge
talking
or
about
something.
Bats and Kaitos?
It was a Game Boy
I know
Advance
that
game.
one week in Monsters when you had it in the sun.
Is that it? I don't remember fully. I never
I just
played
remember
it
the
that much.
commercial. I never played the game. I'm
Oh.
going to be fully honest with you.
Oh, like no, you had to go outside to recharge your sun gun or something like that. Yeah.
I remember. There's a gimmick.
Yeah, but yeah, I did remember seeing that documentary of like these kids riding their bike, clicking their mouth or whatever to echolocate the location, which I thought was really cool. So that was very realistic of them. I don't know if that's like a realistic thing for Japanese like back then, but I thought that was cool.
I can see the tongue clicking being like a legit thing because I mean bats do it, so you'd have to be super acclimated to fighting in the dark, which they portray them as being. Were they all blind, right? And the only one that wasn't was the guy with the whatever those things on his head was.
No, I think he was blind as well.
Okay.
The thing on his head was just to amplify sound.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was definitely blind. I think what was it? there was some like stuff that didn't make sense to me. I can't recall them right now just because it was really weird like first time watching it. And
Yeah.
like all these people coming in from like all like I still don't get why did they ever explain why Ushiyama has that big old thing on his forehead?
No, they don't. I suspect that's maybe they'll explain it in the future, but I thought it was just like a character design thing. To make them all look different. Because you have the one guy that is a master escaper, always dislocating his joints. He
Yeah.
has that weird facial hair. And then, what is the guy that speaks really good Russian? I forget his name. Is that even in
Uh
season one? He has like a weird face that looks like not even like a human nose. It's like an amphibian type of nose. He has like nose
uh
slits.
I have no like there's a lot of people with weird faces.
The other are.
Like
There
you're trying to
definitely
explain, yeah, you're trying to explain one person. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I wanted to see in the first 24 episodes? I wanted to see how the dude's forehead looked like without that porcelain mask he has. What is Suruma?
Oh, Surumi,
The captain, the leader,
yeah.
Surumi.
My guess with Ushiyama, why he has that thing on his forehead is because maybe he got it during like his judo
Yeah,
practice or judo
he's just
fighting
like
or
that from the
something.
get-go. All the
Yeah,
flashbacks that I saw, he looks like that. He
man,
probably
they do some crazy flashback stories, don't they, in the show?
Which one stood out to you the most?
Uh, um, Uh, it's probably the one. It's probably the one where the guy thinks that his friend killed his sister.
Oh yeah, that was super. No,
Yeah,
no, no, that was his. Oh, that was another one. There was
you're
another one where with a flashback like that. That
you're
was
thinking.
past.
Are you thinking about the one where the guy's father left his mother and then the mother kept making the same food over and over again?
That's another guy. They all have tragic backgrounds.
I know
Do
they
you want me
all
to
have.
spoil it for you, or are you gonna keep on watching Golden Kamuy?
Uh, I feel like at this point, I feel like I don't want to watch anymore. Just
Okay,
because
so there's
it
another
doesn't feel
guy.
like yeah. You just go yeah. Go ahead.
It just kind of felt like it was shoved in there for no reason. So there is this one guy that's a Russian interpreter. They go to this Russian video and they have this like Stenka fight, which is this bare hand knuckle like mass rumble in the middle of a ring. And his backstory was that his father was a murderer. The guy went off to serve in the army, and then when he came back, the girl that he really liked, that he said he was gonna marry her when he came back, she was murdered by her father. And then there's this whole big lie that Surumi came up with to convince the guy to, leave death row. Because when he found out his dad did that, he like straight up murdered the guy.
Honestly, I felt like I should have waited to watch it because whenever you explain something, it just doesn't. It doesn't hold up.
It becomes mixed up with the big lie that the village told to the main character.
Sure.
There's this whole thing with Bones being buried under his father's
I feel like
house, but it turns out the father is
the more you talk about it, the
guy
more I'm
wearing
confused.
bones.
The more confused I get. Like it makes no sense.
You had to watch it. It's a complicated story.
That's why I said like I should have just waited till maybe watch it or something because you explaining it just makes no sense half the time. So the guy does this, the guy does that, ends up killing a lot of people. It was like the show is already confusing, like as is.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters to keep track of for sure.
Yeah, I like this is the
They're
one
all
anime
like having their own personalities too.
Yeah,
you have
like
that
this,
one.
Like this is the one anime with too many main characters. I want to say
I wouldn't call all of them main characters. Like for me, the main characters are. No, I guess you're right. I mean, the main focus is on Shripa and Sugimoto, but the other characters are like Surumi and whatever that white-haired guy with the sword from the Shinsegumi is called.
Yeah, there's way too many main characters. Like
yeah, I can't remember all their names.
And the thing is that even though Ashripa and Sugimoto are the main characters, they don't get screen they don't get that much screen time in season 2. Like they switch
compared to like the new ones. Yeah,
like they switch around a bunch, and then you have to keep track of all these other characters.
I mean, it's like a what are those old timey Western or like the Road to El Dorado where they're going after the lost city of gold. You have all these characters. I mean, I guess in that they had less characters, but
I was actually gonna compare this show to like One Piece because it had like the same type of story deal.
Huge amount of characters. They're going
Just
for the One Piece.
Yeah, like basically, except it's more gruesome, more
Just like
bloody.
those old westerns where they're all going for the big deposit of gold
Yeah,
buried on the map.
no, like it has the same type of starting reason, like the starting storyline where there's a huge gold deposit they find in the river, and then guy
Your typical western
story. Yeah.
Half of the time it's for treasure, half the time it's for revenge.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like in terms of like story bases, that they're all and like the main story is that they're hunting these inmates that have tattoos on them, and the tattoo is like a secret code.
It's a cipher.
Yeah, it's a code cipher to this hidden location. And I was like, in season 2, they were just they straight up just try to find that guy that made the tattoos just to get the location. Easier. Yeah, because that would have been easier. And then he ends up dying. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I wonder what they did to his face. He looked like a weird football that was put in the washing machine and dried.
No, they said what happened to his face.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they said he got like it was a bear attack or something. The bear ripped off his face. I think that's what they said, if I recall. Like,
could have been, but here's the thing: they even had a decoy set up that looked exactly the same.
Right.
So I wonder what they did to that guy's face too. They probably just played it.
They probably skinned his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what's with the guy with the freaking murder skin taxidermy fetish? That was a weird
that was probably the most disturbing characters.
Oh my god.
Wasn't it? I mean, at least he only went after corpses to stuff.
That's what he says, but I don't know if I believe it. Yeah.
And it's funny, all these like weird characters, whenever they find somebody that acknowledges their, I guess, kink or weird characteristic, they all get that same reaction. Like, what was it, the taxidermy guy, whenever Surumi like complimented his stuff, he got all like, I guess he climaxes in enjoyment and excitement and happiness. Is that the way to say it?
Do you remember that suit he wore that made him kind of look
like a bear,
like a giraffe? No, like a giraffe type. I don't know.
I thought it was a polar bear that he took to the cave.
No. It was a different suit. It was just a normal suit he was wearing inside the.
Oh
inside
yeah,
his
the
house.
one with all the people parts on it.
Yeah, and then there's one where it's like it had a tail, but the tail was like a finger or something. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, he was a real Leatherface type, wasn't he?
Yeah, like if you're the type of person that doesn't like this type of content, I would not recommend go to Kamuy for you, because it is so gruesome. Like,
it is definitely gruesome. It's gruesome, serious, and silly. It like can't decide what it wants to be.
Like it's
it's too much at the same time, right?
Right. Yeah, like it's an overload of content. Like,
yeah.
That's why I was like figuring out it was like a 50-50 hit or miss type.
It's going in too many directions at once.
Yeah, that's why for me, I think it's a miss. Like,
yeah, it's hard for it to maintain a tone when you already know that they're gonna mix in some like nudity or, naked bar brawls.
Yeah, like with Game of Thrones, like they had nudity, but that was for the course. That's par, right?
Right.
For this show, they'll just throw anything at you anytime they want. Like, do you remember like when they were trying to hunt down this fisherman guy and he got off?
Yeah.
His kink was like ways for other people to kill himself or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely remember that. That was the same exact reaction that the taxidermy guy had and the Stanka fight guy had.
The what guy?
Which is this. You didn't see it. It's past episode 24.
Oh,
it's this huge guy that likes fight. I don't know if he likes fighting, but he likes getting hit a lot. I guess he's a masochist.
Oh.
But he also likes punching, giving pain to people. So I guess you could say he's a switch.
I guess. I'm not
it's
sure.
Weird, dude.
I can't explain it if I haven't seen it. Yeah, like I can't explain it if I haven't seen it.
He looks like the what was it, Ushiyama, the guy with the block on his head?
Yeah.
He's like as buff as he is, probably a little bit tinier. He just likes fighting a lot and violence.
Okay, so what I didn't get was technically, I think in season 1, Yoshitaka, when he was winning all those horse races, right?
Yeah.
he could have technically, if he kept all the money, and then if that one guy didn't like screw him over with the horse race,
Right.
he would have had enough money to where they really didn't need the gold in the
Probably
to
not.
the end of the show. Yeah.
Like all the plans that they set up in Golden Kamuy, they all fall through. I don't think there's been one that successfully goes through. There's always one character that, because of bravado or brain damage, decides to go out the script and messes up the whole plan completely.
Yeah, I get. I mean, some of these plans are
Because there's so many parties involved, it's easy to foil something.
right. There's like 6 parties involved at the same time, like all going all over the place, and they're trying to thwart each other, and you're trying to figure out who's with who and what's like which alliance is the good alliance, which one, because at the end of season 2, I still don't know which alliance is the good alliance anymore. I feel like they're all bad alliances.
I mean, there's no. The only good person, I guess, would be a Shripa and Sugimoto, but even Sugimoto has issues. Like, he's not a perfectly good person, but I think he's like the purest of them all. Or maybe Matataki is, because he just wants to live as a hunter now, but because of his connection with the people, he has to go with it.
Yeah. Oh, you know who I'm sad they cut out of the show was the
bear
wolf.
hunter?
No, the wolf. Yeah,
I think
because
there'd be more wolf, or it would make a triumphant comeback at some point. Maybe towards the tail end of the whatever's out.
The reason why they cut out the wolf is because Ashrupa said that she thought he was the last Ainu wolf or whatever wolf it was,
and he found a family.
And he found a family, so that's why she was like, I'm not gonna ask him for help anymore because he should be with his family, and because he might be the last one, like, you know, to grow the family and repopulate the wolf population.
Oh, absolutely.
So that makes sense.
That was like Butterfree's goodbye. It was at the start of the show.
Was Inkamot the one that told fortunes for Yoshitaka during the horse race?
Yes, the lady with the, well, I was gonna say the black tattooed lips, but that's an Ainu thing, where women that are ready to get married tattoo their lips black. By the way, I really like that.
Oh, just like the aesthetic of it.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's really nice.
I don't get. So the little kid they introduced, what is his deal? He just showed up out of nowhere.
He's just a random Ainu kid that they picked up. He's like comedic. I mean, there's comedy all the time in this show, but they just use him to be silly. And like, what was it that he said about Matatagi and Inkaramat? That she's my mom and she gets, was it the mom or a sister role? And he can touch her boobs and she doesn't get mad at him.
Oh, and then the guy's like the gigolo.
Yeah. I was like, what the? That's like the most random thing. I mean, because they're all silly kids, right? They all have like Boner as their name, stuff like that. Like
Big Sensei for Uchiyama. Yeah.
No, for the Ainu kids. Oh. They have like vulgar names in order to keep the evil spirits away. And then when they grow up, they get normal names.
So okay, so for the first, let's say 6 episodes of season 1, right? I thought the first 6 episodes were really good. Like really, really, like comedic wise, it was really good as well. And
also like with the Ainu stuff.
Yeah, like
learning about the Kamuy.
Especially with the what was it? Like the thing that she thought it was poop, the miso.
Yeah.
The miso paste. I thought like that running gag was really funny. I really enjoyed that. And then
they did mention it, but like not after, I guess, a couple episodes. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're in war type of setting in the prison. They wouldn't have a chance to mention that. Maybe after.
Well, like the thing is that they had a lot of carryover jokes, and then they just kind of stopped having carryover jokes after episode 6.
Yeah.
And they're just doing like one-time gags type things, and I was like, it's not as funny. Like the poop gag was really like, I think the only gag they really carried on for a little while was the Chinatop whatever gag. The
Chin Sensei.
The thing where they cut the meat into bits and pieces, the Chinatop.
Chitatop.
Yeah.
I love that. You have to say Chitatop when you cut your meat. I'm gonna do that next time I'm making meat. I'm just gonna Chitatop. I love that. It's not even a gag. That's an actual thing, I'm sure.
Well, but it is a gag in the show though. Like, you know, like a comedic relief type gag where they carry on each episode.
Probably one of the ones that aren't vulgar. Most of the stuff is like pseudo vulgar already there.
Yeah, like the show does a lot of like butt jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh like most like do you think most of the time the jokes land?
When the kids do it, it's funny. But like not at the at the basic level, like how most dudes will laugh at a fart or something like that, a fart
Yeah.
in an elevator, that type of funny, but not
Yeah.
advanced type of funny. It's like surface level funny. There's a lot of stuff that the author could do to make it funnier, but given the setting and if it's a kid doing the joke, and that's fine. But also they use like the naked guys wrestling, or how like people say, "Oh, oysters are an aphrodisiac,"
Yeah.
type of joke, and like I just rolled my eyes at that part. But whenever they started wrestling, I started laughing because of the absurdity of it. Like this is what they chose to do in this situation. I mean, it's funny, but not overly.
Oh, like the sumo, whatever.
Yeah, the sumo wrestling was
I honestly,
ridiculous. It's ridiculously funny.
I honestly thought the part where they had to fight in the darkness but naked the entire time was pretty funny.
I mean, I didn't. It was funny, but less so. It's just the
No,
situation.
it's because it was serious. Yeah, it was serious.
It was serious. That one for sure was serious. That's why I didn't really laugh at it.
But it was funny though.
It is funny.
Yeah, it is funny though. Like
I'm surprised nobody got their wiener shot.
I was actually expecting. No. Didn't what's his name get his butt shot though?
I don't remember, but that's a big surface area.
Like I remember, I think they were in the boat, and then they were trying to figure out their location in the boat or whatever, and then the guy I think blocked for Inkermount and got his butt shot, which was really funny.
I thought he just got shot on his back, but yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you: did you watch this in Japanese or dub?
Japanese. Was something wrong with the dub?
I actually watched it in dub. It was really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it was surprisingly. So in the first season, I watched it in sub, and I was like, man, it was dragging. Like, did it hit you that it was getting to that point after season one that was like really hard to watch? Or
no, I never felt that it was hard to watch. This is a very bingeable show for me.
It felt like it took too much concentration for me to watch, just because it was so gory, and it's not the type of anime I would really watch, like sit down
for
and watch.
You.
Yeah, for me.
I really liked learning about the Shripa stuff, so I tried to pay more attention to that, especially with like the stuff about the dreams where old Ainu believe that.
But they didn't have that as much as like season one. They had a lot of that. They had like a lot of cooking advice. They had a lot of like just like knowledge about the Ainu people.
I think at the end, like episode 19 is like the last episode before 24 that they talk about Ainu stuff like that to that extent, where they're doing the bear ceremony. And I think they also mentioned that you had to like destroy the clothes or like poke holes in it or do some sort of damage to it to send it back to heaven with them. Kind of like how the Egyptians used to put stuff in the sarcophaguses for the king to have stuff to take with him.
Yeah. Or like how like you need gold. Like gold is still important in the afterlife or something like that.
Right. I don't know if the Ainu mentioned gold, did they?
Yeah, they did. Like where you still need gold in the afterlife. So yeah, like after season one out, it was getting too hard to like just watch it and whatever. Like my brain was starting to shut off whenever I was trying to watch the show.
I kind of just shut off my brain and enjoyed it as is. Obviously, it made me think about stuff like with Ainu mostly, but all the stuff between who's trying to kill who, I stopped caring because they're all gonna try to kill each other at some point. Like as I said, Mexican standoff.
I wanted to understand the story. That's why I watched it in dub, because trying to understand the story, trying to watch it, and trying to like read dialogue text and trying to figure out all this is like too much to handle. What didn't you
understand about the story? It was pretty clear cut and through.
Like obviously, when they're switching characters,
alliances are
like when they're switching characters, I'm like, oh god, it's because when they switch characters so often, you're just like, I don't. At this point, I have no idea who's going with who, who's alliancing with who. It's all over the place, and at this point, I just wanted to save a bit of my brain, so I didn't. Well,
Sugimoto and the scape dude are kind of in the middle of it. Matatagi is kind of given up on, I guess, the goal. He just wants to live as a hunter again after spending some time with whatever the bear hunter guy was with the single shot rifle.
But you can't say that after he shot Sugimoto, though.
When did he shoot Sugimoto?
Tanigaki?
Uh, I'm talking about Matatagi.
Oh, Matatagi. Okay, they
Matatagi is the guy that used to be the. Remember that he was going after his friend who thought he killed his sister. That's the guy with the flashback you're talking about. After he spent time with the Ainu and the bear hunter guy's like, I want to live with this in this world instead of like with the army and modern Japanese.
Right.
That's what I was talking about. The guy you're talking about is the guy with the actual
the dad issues.
Multiple, the dad issue. He's the son of a prostitute, and what was he? The general's son of the seventh, or the admiral,
something like that. Yeah,
the leader of it.
Kind of iffy, yeah.
That one was like whatever. That dude was weird. Like it's hard to put my finger on that guy. Obviously,
that's the thing. Like, there's too many main characters. There's too many.
I'm okay with it. It's a huge like race to the gold. There's gonna be hijinks and stuff like that. Like it has more of a feel like of a Jackie Chan type of movie,
right?
Instead of a 007 movie.
But like I can also argue that like One Piece has a lot of characters, but they can easily be parsed out. You know, like they have unique character design. Everyone kind of feels
have unique
different.
character. They all have like unique characters. Like to me, they feel different.
Yeah, and okay, in Golden Kamuy, they all have unique character designs. They have unique backgrounds, but when everyone has the same piece of screen time, it's just hard to like try to figure out.
Like in One Piece, there are large sections where you don't see Luffy. There's large sections where you don't see Zoro. There's large sections where you don't see Sanji. Stuff like that.
Yeah, but you know who the main characters are. You have no problem trying to identify main characters. You have no problem parsing out. Like, you know,
it's a different type of show. Obviously, the basic setup is the same. They're going for the treasure, right?
Right.
They're going for the One Piece. Here, they're just going for the golden.
But I'm not talking about the story. I'm not talking about the main arcing story. I'm just talking about like just trying to parse everything out.
I don't understand how you have difficulty telling who's a part. Like the alliance thing is. I'm not saying
that I'm having trouble parsing people. I'm having trouble parsing like their
alliances.
Their alliances, who they're working with. It's basically trying to parse out like alliances within like Game of Thrones almost, like with different houses and stuff. Like because if you go through the books, like that gets super complicated. I think they dumbed it down in the show,
right?
Like in the anime, like they don't dumb it out at all. They're like everyone's going full force.
So they have two big groups. You have the seventh. You have
I like you don't have to explain it to me. Like I'm just saying like because if a person coming
like after the whole switch with that one,
it's just a lot at one time.
The guy that murdered.
It's just a lot at one time. Like
I'm
just saying,
you could feel like it's a lot. It
is a lot. It is a lot. Like compared to other shows, this is a lot. This is a lot to take in.
I guess. Like I mean, compared to what Kazuko Family.
Like what was
Kazuko
it like?
Kami-sama, one of those like low tier.
This is not like that's just okay. That's random. I'm not really talking about that. I'm just saying like if a person's coming in watching Golden Kamuy. I'm just telling them straight up.
Episode.
I did that. We did that. I'm just telling them. I'm telling them straight up. Like this is one of those animes that takes a lot to figure out what's happening. Like I'm just being straight with people that want to watch this. That if they're coming in trying to watch a Golden Kamuy, it's a lot to parse at one time, especially when you're coming in to season 2. Season 1 is pretty easy to figure out what's going. Season 2 is just all over the place, and they're doing a lot. That's what I'm saying.
It's one of those shows where you have to watch it instead of watching it on the side as you're doing something else.
No, I watched it. That's why I also watched it in dub, so I can like figure so I can take out the idea of like having to read it, because
I didn't have an issue following the show at all.
Maybe that's you, like different people, different anime. The genre for this, I didn't like the genre.
I do.
The genre in general.
It was a nice change from the normal high school stuff we always watch.
I guess, but no, I'm not saying
I get tired of that genre. Like very quickly.
I'm not saying I'm tired of that genre. I'm just saying like the mixing of the genre wasn't very enjoyable. Like
I can understand that because it can't decide. Like it's going in two directions at the same time, and it doesn't give you the full impact of either.
Yeah, it's like trying to be a comedy, serious comedy slice of life show.
It feels like a, one of those Sunday morning comic panels that you get in the newspaper. I guess like the Americans would get the Calvin and Hobbes and the Garfields and all Peanuts and such. That's the type of feel that this has. Like it's something that would be in one of those types of setups. Obviously, it wasn't.
I feel like this might probably be better in manga form, just because you can like go back, reread it, parse it out a lot easier. Because when you're watching this, it's like go here. Okay, switch, go. Next person, next, go, switch.
I know how you're describing it, but I didn't feel that way. I really don't think I would enjoy like the Ainu scenes. Like remember in episode 18 at the end of it, they had the crane dance and she was doing that weird thing with her shirt saying Huntori and stuff like that.
Oh, the little dance, yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. They're just watching her. Like that scene was probably my favorite in the whole show. They're just like
that was so out of the blue. That's a weird scene.
It was a weird scene. My issue with the show also is that they conveniently come across other parties.
I don't think it's convenient. It's not convenient. It's because the person in the party is betraying them and they're letting them know where they are most of the time.
Oh yeah, I mean they did the 7th with the one Ainu dude, but like in that scene they randomly walk into the other group.
Which group?
Remember when they were doing the crane dance and the gigolo little kid?
No. In the previous episode, they knew where it was because he got a message from them. He got a message from one of them about where they were, and that's how they were able to meet up.
I mean, I guess at that point they do have trackers on any one side, so either side could set it up so that they run into them.
Yeah, so it's
and like the Ainu know how to, tell the lay of the land. Like I'm the type of person that needs Google to tell me where to go. Like I'm bad with direction. I like Zoro from One Piece with direction.
Yeah, like at this point in time, like after season 2, I feel like nothing is a coincidence anymore. Like no one just runs into someone coincidentally.
That's how I felt it. I didn't like try to think too deep. Like why did they just like walk into them a couple of times conveniently? It's probably because they're tracking them. Yeah, I could see that.
And everyone's being tracked. Everyone knows everyone's location. Everyone's all over the place. Like it. That's what I'm saying is like there's a lot of background stuff that we're not getting either. But I guess you can figure it out yourself. Like after
there's characters that are conspiring. Yeah. But what they present to us mostly isn't that. We can kind of infer off screen that they're tracking them, I suppose is what you could say.
Yeah. Like, one of my favorite scenes in the show was like you said the crane thing was your favorite. I really like the this was a weird scene. It's the one where they're like out fishing or in the beach episode. And then they're like, she just like straight up like was harvesting a sunfish when it was like just sunbathing. I'm like, bro, that's brutal.
Is that a real thing?
That's
like
brutal.
I Googled it. And it looked at her like, yeah, that's definitely another one of those scenes where it jumps at you.
Yeah, the fish was like, bruh, seriously? Like, I'm just over here trying to get some sun and you're cutting into me?
That was like almost a horror. Like, Ashripa was the monster, even though the sunfish is a monstrous looking creature.
Could she technically cut a chunk out of it and the fish would still be alive?
I mean, people, like, when they do the shark fin soup thing, they rip off the, like,
no, but the sharks are dead. Yeah, the sharks are dead.
Eventually die. Yeah, they will eventually die. I mean, you do find, like, big fish with chunks bitten out of them swimming around just fine. Yeah,
but once you defin a shark, it's pretty much
because that's an essential. That's essential to them. But I'm talking about, like let's say if it's a big chunk out of their side. Yeah, I think they could, but it just depends on what Ashripa cut out.
No, she said she cut out the gut, so it's dead.
It's 100% dead. It needs that. I'm talking about just like a little piece of meat.
Did you say it needs the guts? It does need the guts.
I mean, when you say guts, I'm thinking like intestines and like the stomach. I thought it was just like some meat, like a fillet of sunfish that she ripped off, not like the whole essential part.
Well, I thought she was just gonna do a fillet of it, like of the sides or whatever, until you said she was gonna cut out the guts. So I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much
fillet of sunfish.
Point. Yeah, they didn't show it, but you can infer it that she said she was gonna cut out the guts.
I'm assuming they took out the whole thing out of the water because, I mean, you could at that point if it's dead, it won't fight.
Probably not because that thing was huge. Like it was.
Yeah, she did stand on it like a floor mat.
That thing was like the size of like 3 of their boats. So that I think that's the reason why they were cutting it in the water.
Yeah, I'm surprised that like even held her there and didn't move around. I mean, I guess for the cartoon, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Or maybe
I thought
people do it a lot in their work.
I just thought that scene was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did they
honestly,
use,
I would just enjoy an Ainu only show.
did they? How much 3D did they use? Did you catch a lot of 3D? Like the only 3D I can remember was the bear.
Bears, the boats.
Were the boats 3D?
Some of the people's shots. Yeah, the boats were 3D. They look 3D to me. Yeah. Okay. A lot of 3Ds now. They got into the point where it's pretty good. But
I think the bear was the worst one. Yeah,
the bear is like constantly worse. The Wolverine's pretty good, but you haven't gotten there yet.
No, you keep mentioning season 3 stuff, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's what I got to. I got to 28.
Yeah, we're like, okay, so we're gonna talk about season 1, season 2, and then most of the time we're like, okay, this is what happens in season 3.
Well, I haven't gotten like deep into it.
What are you talking about? You're halfway through it.
Some inconsequential contents.
What was it? So I guess just overall rating wise, what would you give the show?
Because of like the whole feel of the show, I enjoyed. I can agree with it's going in 2 different directions at once, and that lessens the enjoyment. But for me, 7 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it 5.5. 5.5. Okay. Just like you understand why I give it a 5.5.
Because it's not your type of show, and
it's not my type of show.
Same feeling. It is a big thing where it does go into 2 different directions at once. Like the silliness ruins the seriousness sometimes, and the seriousness ruins the silliness sometimes.
Yeah, like they could be doing something crazy and then have like a joke in the middle. It's like that joke didn't land very well.
Like I'm surprised that they didn't put in like a gag in the middle of Wilkes getting shot in the head.
Like the joke or the gag they made with do you remember when they were in the prison and Sugimoto was like making like a threat that he was gonna kill what's his name, like the imposter guy, and then the guy with the ear on his neck was like he shot him, and then Sugimoto's like, well, if you guys all back up or I'm gonna shoot him myself, and he's already dead. And I was like,
that was like definitely a gag. That was like a Weekend at Bernie's type of thing.
Yeah, that was a gag where I was like, I think that was, but like in my head I was like, is this supposed to be funny? Like because of
I mean, it was. Yeah, I was laughing.
It was funny, but it was a brutal joke, right? Like
yeah, it was definitely brutal.
Yeah,
like I was surprised they didn't scream. They were about to, but then they caught themselves and quickly said, "What if you shot him and died?"
Exactly. Exactly. I
was amazed by his quick thinking.
You know what I thought was like in the same episode. You know what I thought was a weird joke was the one where they were digging. They dig down into that little vent under the prison, right?
Yeah.
And the same ear neck guy was like, "Whoa, where'd they go?" He was trying to. He was like looking inside, and then he was about to walk out, and like the guy that's dead, right? He's like, he turns around, I was like, "Did the guy just fart?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah, that one was kind of like, I chuckled.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
I feel like a lot of these jokes are like they're funny because they're brutal. Like there's
like childish.
There's some brutal jokes. Yeah, like these jokes are either like poop funny jokes or like we killed someone now laugh type jokes. Like it's these are some brutal jokes.
The absurdity of the situation is what makes it funny for me.
Like okay, let me give you an example of like absurdity to like not being funny real fast. The episode where they were chasing the taxidermy guy through the train tracks, right?
Right.
And they were having this nice, fun, like chasing scene inside the mine carts or whatever. And they're all having fun. They throw a lot of jokes at you while being in the mine carts. And then the guy, these miners hit like a pocket of gas, and then a whole bunch of people just end up dying. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, they're quick to board it up, but you kind of have to when you have to cut off oxygen.
But several, like I'm gonna guess dude. Over like
mines. If you're a mine worker, historically, you're gonna have a bad time. Like you should not work in the mines if you want to live. Obviously, you make money there, but there's a high chance you're gonna die, especially back then they didn't really give a crap about safety regulations or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, there's gonna be dangerous situations with that. It happens.
Yeah, I remember seeing a documentary about it, how like these miners would bring like parakeets or whatever inside mines
because coal mine.
Yeah, like because the parakeets would they would squeak every so often, and if they stopped squeaking, they know something was off because they didn't get enough oxygen or something like that.
Air leaks, airs or methane.
There's some time of buildup. So yeah, like this anime, like the accuracy of a lot of these stuff is pretty close to being real.
It's spot on.
It's pretty.
It is real.
It's pretty spot on. Yeah, it's. I would say like
98%.
Yeah, 98% realistic in my book. But the transition from like these jokes to like a bunch of people dying is where I probably draw the line for me. Just
it was too much for you.
Yeah, like just,
yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Like I'm a slice of life person. I like slice of life shows. Like
there was a slice of life going on.
That's why I liked it so much in the first season. Too. Yeah, that's why I liked the first season too much. Yeah.
I like that the most out of the whole show.
Yeah, and then it just never went back there. It went into a different direction, and
it's like a Western in Japan.
Yeah, it was like like first 6 episodes. That's why I said I love the first 6 episodes so much, and then after that, it was just downhill from there.
If anything, it's like going in the direction of the good and the bad and the weird compared to the good, the bad, and the ugly.
It doesn't hit. It doesn't hit my points for me. Like it hits individually, it hits the points, but like trying to be the jack of all trade type deal, it just doesn't meet
master of none, jack of all trades.
Yeah, it just doesn't hit those points for me. Yeah, overall,
I can understand your point of view with that. Absolutely, it's valid.
Overall, 5.5 for me. What was it? What was your point? 7 something?
7 out of 10, just because it's my first time seeing all the stuff with the Ainu. I didn't even know it was an actual thing, and I really enjoyed learning about
historically,
it. Historically,
very awesome. Yeah, very awesome historical information. Awesome factual dumps. If you want to learn some cool stuff, great show. Don't recommend it for kids. Definitely not for kids. Don't recommend it for if you're squeamish, if you don't like blood type content, if you don't like gore. I don't recommend it. It's like what type of person would you recommend the show to?
I don't know, me.
It's not really like, I guess like people who like type war type veteran type. Not even.
It's not even. It's too. It doesn't like for those type of shows. I would recommend something else because it is in the setting, but it's too silly a lot of the time, especially with the Bara stuff.
Like if someone's coming to me, it's like, hey, do you have a good comedy show? I'm like, oh, comedy show. Let me tell you about Go to Kamuy. I would never. You know what?
This is for somebody that is tired of the same old, same old. It's definitely different. It has its own feel.
Okay.
It's a unique show.
I think I know who I would recommend this to.
Who?
If you like Rainbow Nishika, you would like this show.
Pure serious though.
Yeah, but it kind of leads. You can if you like
this
that
is
type
better
of show,
than Rainbow for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Rainbow. That's what I'm saying. If you like Rainbow, you like Golden Kamuy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and if you're like, I think this is also aimed towards like the female audience too. Like let's not joke around the bush. It's aimed towards the female audience.
Going back to what I mentioned earlier about where they were showing a picture. Like, remember? I don't remember if you saw this, but they were taking pictures of everybody, just like that records, I guess.
Yeah, that's season 2, yeah.
And for some reason, they had pictures of Matatagi, like, naked in various poses. And he showed it to this one old guy. Have you seen this Ashripa girl? And it's Matatagi with, like, his legs spread open in a very suggestive manner. It's like, oh, that's very cute. And then they showed us it's Matatagi.
I think they showed that in, like, season 2 where they were taking the photo at the end of the end credits. Where it's like, spread your legs a little more.
Yeah, that was so weird. Why would you do that?
And you know what's funny is like if you're using cameras from like that long ago, like you probably have to hold.
You had to stand there,
for like at least a couple minutes.
Like, what type of dude is Matatagi, or he just goes with it?
All right, I think I'm done talking about this show. Anything else you want to say about the show?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay, I think that's it for us. Watch it if you want to watch it. I
flip a coin.
Down my case. Yeah, I put down my
coin?
case. Not even like just maybe like if you like what we talked about and this is in your wheelhouse, give it a try. But I explained my case about not liking the show, and if you know if you're not in that type of niche where you don't like that type of show, I would say give season one a try just because it's really good. Season one's really good. If you like season one, then you might like season two. But besides that, that's pretty much gonna be it for us. So we'll catch you guys later.